John Henry Coatsworth is an American historian of Latin America and the provost of Columbia University. From 2007 until February 2012, Coatsworth was the dean of Columbia's School of International and Public Affairs, and served concurrently as interim provost beginning in 2011. Coatsworth is a scholar of Latin American economic, social and international history, with an emphasis on Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. Biography. Professor Coatsworth received his BA degree in history from Wesleyan University and his MA and PhD degrees in economic history from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He taught at the University of Chicago from 1969 until 1992 and at Harvard University until 2006. His other academic posts have included visiting professorships at El Colegio de Mexico, the National Autonomous University of Mexico, the National University of Buenos Aires, the Instituto Torquato de Itala in Buenos Aires, and the Instituto Ortega y Gasset in Madrid. Dean Coatsworth is the author or editor of 8 books and many scholarly articles on Latin American economic and international history. He is a former president of the American Historical Association and, at Harvard University, he served as the founding director of the David Rockefeller Center for Latin American Studies from its creation in 1994 until 2006. He also chaired the Harvard University Committee on Human Rights Studies. He is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, the Board of Directors of the Tinker Foundation, the Board of Trustees and the Scientific Council of the Foundation Institute IMDEA Social Sciences, and numerous professional associations. He has served on the editorial boards of numerous scholarly journals including the American Historical Review, the Journal of Economic History, and the Hispanic American Historical Review, and as well as social science and history journals published in Britain, Chile, Germany, Mexico, Peru, and Spain. Dean Coatsworth's most recent book is Living Standards in Latin American History, Height, Welfare and Development, 1750 to 2000, edited with Ricardo Salvatore and Amilcar Chalu. His research and publications have focused on comparative economic, social, and international history of Latin America, especially Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. Coatsworth was awarded the John Simon Guggenheim Foundation Fellowship in 1986, served as Senior Fulbright Lecturer 3 times, and has received research and institutional grants from public agencies and private foundations in the United States and elsewhere. He has also acted as a consultant for program design or review to numerous U.S. universities and private foundations. In 2005, he was elected to membership in the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Controversy over the invitation of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, while addressing the president of Iran's upcoming visit to the university campus on Fox News. Dean Coatsworth was asked whether the administration would have allowed Adolf Hitler to speak on campus if he had asked. Coatsworth replied that, if he were willing to engage in a debate and a discussion to be challenged by Columbia students and faculty, we would certainly invite him. In 1933, University President Nicholas Murray Butler held a speaking engagement and reception for Germany's ambassador to the United States, Hans Luther. Asked to clarify his remarks on September 24 on CNN, Coatsworth said, "Look, if Hitler had come to the Columbia University in 1936, I would have been outside with the peaceful protesters. Or if I had been dean, I would have been inside presenting him to our students to be challenged. You can't choose your role in life. You can only choose the principles you have to live by." And in this case, we're providing not a platform but a classroom, and we're going to challenge this guy as he has not been challenged in other places. Coatsworth has advocated for the U.S. to abide by and strengthen global rules and norms. The United States faces a fundamental issue, and that issue is, how do we create international and global institutions that function effectively and will continue to function effectively when the U.S. is no longer a global superpower? Coatsworth said in an April 9, 2010, interview with Charlie Rose on PBS Publications. Books: Cambridge Economic History of Latin America, edited with Victor Bulmer Thomas and Roberto Cortez Conde. Culturas Encontradas, Cuba y los Estados Unidos, edited with Rafael Hernandez. Latin America and the World Economy Since 1800, edited with Alan M. Taylor. The United States and Central America, The Clients and the Colossus. Los Orígenes del Atraso. Nueva de Historia Económica de Mexico, siglos XVIII y XIX. Images of Mexico in the United States, edited with Carlos M. Rico. Spanish edition. Imágenes de México en Estados Unidos. Growth Against Development. The Economic Impact of Railroads in Porfirian Mexico. Spanish editions. Mexico, September. Setentas, 1976. Second edition. Mexico, editions era, 1984. Articles and book chapters. Political Economy and Economic Organization in the Iberian New World. Chapter 7. Volume 1 of Cambridge Economic History of Latin America, edited with Victor Bulmer Thomas and Roberto Cortez Conde. Structures, Endowments, Institutions, and Growth in Latin American Economic History. Latin American Research Review. Always protectionist. Latin American Tariffs from Independence to Great Depression, with Jeffrey G. Williamson. Journal of Latin American Studies, 36-2, 205-32. La muerte y la resurrección del nacionalismo económico de México in Enrique Semo, ed. El nacionalismo mexicano y hoy. Globalization, Growth, and Welfare in History, in Marcelo Suárez Orozco and Desiree Bar-Olian-Keen Hilliard eds. Globalization, Culture and Education in the New Millennium, pp. 38-55. The Roots of Latin American Protectionism, Looking Before the Great Depression, with Jeffrey G. Williamson. Revised version published in Anthony Esteve Dordal et al. eds. Integrating the Americas, FDAA and Beyond, pp. 37-73, reprinted in Kevin O'Rourke, ed. The International Trading System, Globalization and History, Institutions and Long-Run Economic Performance in Mexico and Spain 1800-2000, with Gabriel Tortola Casas, Working Papers on Latin America, paper number 02-03-1. La Independencia de Cuba en la Historia de América Latina, in Espacios, Silencios y los Sentidos de la Libertad, Cuba entre 1878 y 1912, edited by Fernando Martínez Heredia, Rebecca J. Scott, and Orlando F. Garcia Martinez, pp. 346-55. El Estado y la Actividad Económica Colonial, en Procesos Americanos de Redefinición Colonial, Volume 4 of Historia General de América Latina, edited by Enrique Tandeta and George Hidalgo Lewede, pp. 301-23. Cycles of Globalization, Economic Growth, and Human Welfare in Latin America, in Globalization and the Rural Environment, edited by Otto T. Solbrig, Robert Paulberg, and Francesco Di Castri, pp. 23-47, Spanish trans. Infractal, crecimiento economico nel espacio peruano 1681–1800, una visione a partir dell'agricoltura, with Carlos Newland, Revista de Historia Económica, 18–2, 377–91. Introduction to the Harvard edition of Stephen Kinzer and Stephen Schlesinger, Bitter Fruit, The Untold Story of the American Coup in Guatemala, pp. XXVIII. The United States and Democracy in Mexico, in the United States and Latin America, edited by James Dunkley and Victor Bulmer Thomas, pp. 141–55. Economic and Institutional Trajectories in 19th-Century Latin America. In Latin America and the World Economy Since 1800, edited with Alan M. Taylor, pp. 23–54, published in Spanish as Trayectorias Económicas y Institucionales en América Latina durante el siglo XIX. Annuario IEHS No. 14, pp. 149–75. Introduction. In Latin America and the World Economy Since 1800, edited with Alan M. Taylor, pp. 1–17. Measuring Influence, the United States and the Mexican Peasantry, in Rural Revolt in Mexico, U.S. Intervention and the Domain of Subaltern Politics, edited by Daniel Nugent, 64–71. Revised and updated version of Comment on the United States and the Mexican Peasantry, in Rural Revolt in Mexico, a U.S. Intervention, edited by Daniel Nugent, 61–8. Presidential Address, Welfare, American Historical Review, 101–1, 1–12, Spanish edition, En torno de la historia del bienestar. Desarrollo Económico, Revista de Ciencias Sociales, 36–144, 991–1003. Trastornos de la Transición, México otra vez, Meridiano Carey, 3, 17–20. Pax Americana, Latin America after the Cold War impasse as prelude. History in the Making of a New World Order, edited by Meredith Wu Cummings and Michael Lorio, 159–77, Spanish edition. Pax Americana, América Latina después de la Guerra Fría, Revista Mexicana de Sociología, 45–2, 293–314. The Economic Impact of Independence in Latin America, in La Independencia de América Latina, Consecuencias Económicas, edited by Leandro Prados de la Escachura and Samuel Amaral, 17–27. Notes on the Comparative Economic History of Latin America and the United States, in Nord und Southern America, Gegensatze Gemeinsamkeiten, Europäische Hintergrund, edited by Wolfgang Reinhard and Pete Wildman, 595–612, reprinted in Development and Underdevelopment in America, Contrasts of Economic Growth in North and Latin America in Historical Perspective, edited by W. L. Bernecker and H. W. Tobler, pp. 10–30, German trans. Die Wirtschaftsgeschichte Lateinamerikas und der USA im Vergleich einigen Merkungen in die vielen Amerikas. Die Neue Welt zwischen 1800 und 1930, edited by F. Edelmeyer, B. Hausberger, and H. W. Tobler, pp. 35–52. Economic History and the History of Prices in Latin America, in Essays on Latin American Price History, edited by Lyman Johnson and Enrique Tandeta. 21–33, Spanish translation, Historia Económica y Historia de Precios en la Latinoamérica Colonial en Economías Coloniales, Precios y Salarios en América Latina, Siglo XVII, pp. 31–44. Images of Mexico in the United States. Introduction. In Images of Mexico in the United States, 1-13. Of Historiografía Económica de México, Revista de Historia Económica, 6-2. 277-91. Patterns of Rural Rebellion in Latin America, Mexico in Comparative Perspective in Riot, Rebellion, and Revolution. Rural Social Conflict in Mexico, edited by Friedrich Katz, 21-62. Spanish edition, Volume 1, 27-61. The Decline of the Mexican Economy, 1800-1860, in La Formación de las Economías Latinoamericanas y los Intereses Económicos Europeos en la Época de Simón Bolívar, edited by Reinhard Lehr, 27-53. The Mexican mining industry in the 18th century, in the economies of Mexico and Peru during the late colonial period, 1760-1810, edited by Nils Jacobsen and Hans-Jürgen Pühler, 26-45, reprinted in Mines of Silver and Gold in the Americas, edited by Peter Bakewell, 263-82. El Estado y el Sector Externo en Mexico, 1810-1910, Secuencia, Revista Americana de Ciencias Sociales, 2, 40-54, Cliometrics and Mexican History, Historical Methods, 18-1, 31-37. The Limits of Colonial Absolutism. Mexico in the 18th Century, in Essays in the Political, Economic and Social History of Colonial Latin America, edited by Karen Spaulding, 25-51. Mexico, del Atraso al Subdesarrollo. Diálogos, Art, Letras, Ciencias Humanas, 108, 43-51. Themes in Search of Historians, the 19th Century, in Labor and Laborers Through Mexican History, edited by L.C. Frost, Michael C. Mayer and Josefina Z. Vazquez, 870-4. The Emergence of the Modern State in Latin America, in the New Thrust of U.S. Latin American Relations. Proceedings of the 10th Annual Quad Cities World Affairs Conference, edited by Daniel Lely, 31-6. Indispensable Railroads in a Backward Economy, Journal of Economic History, 39-4, 939-60. Reprinted in Spanish in Enrique Cardenas, ed. Historia Económica de México, Volume 64 of Carlos Barjdresh P. Director, Lecturers, 201-29. Características Generales de la Economía Mexicana en el siglo XIX, en ensayos sobre el desarrollo económico de México y América Latina, 1500-1975, edited by Enrique Florescano, 171-86, reprinted in Spanish in Enrique Cardenas, ed. Historia Económica de México, 13-26. Obstacles to Economic Growth in 19th Century Mexico, American Historical Review, 83-1, 80-100, reprinted in Modern Political Economy and Latin America, Theory and Policy, edited by Jeffrey Frieden, Manuel Pastor, Jr., and Michael Toms, pp. 97-109, published in Spanish translation in Instituto Nacional de Estadística, Geografía y Informática, Estadísticas Históricas de México, Volume 1, 299-307. Anotaciones sobre la producción de alimentos durante el Porfiriato, Historia Mexicana, 26-2, 167-76, reprinted in Carlos Marichal Salinas, ed. La Economía Mexicana, siglos XIXYXX 136-56, Los Orígenes del Autoritarismo Moderno en México, Foro International, 16-2, 205-32, reprinted in Leopoldo Alab ed. Origines del Autoritarismo en América Latina, 197-218. Railroads, landholding and agrarian protest in the early Porfiriato, Hispanic American Historical Review, 54-1, 48-71. Reprinted in W. Dirk Rath ed. Mexico from Independence to Revolution, 260-72. American trade with European colonies in the Caribbean and South America, 1790-1815. William and Mary Cordley, 3D Sir. 24-2, 243-66, reprinted in William Appleman Williams ed. The Shaping of American Diplomacy, Readings and Documents in American Foreign Relations, 91-7, short articles and commentary. Prologue to La Fábula del Tiburón y las Sardines by Juan Jos Arevalo. Preface to the Cuban Economy at the Start of the 21st Century, edited by George Dominguez, Omar Evelyn y Pérez Villanueva, and Lorena Barberia. Preface, with Enrique Iglesias, Andrés Velasco, al. eds. Integrating the Americas, FDAA and Beyond. Mexico and Mexico City, in the Oxford Encyclopedia of Economic History, edited by Joel Mokia, pp. 501-09. The Roots of Violence in Colombia, Revista, Harvard Review of Latin America, Spring 2003. Internationalizing Human Rights. Revista, Harvard Review of Latin America, Fall 2003. America and Latin America, Time for a New Strategy. Harvard Magazine, 104-3, 25-7. Commentary in Latinos Remaking America, edited by Marcelo Suarez Orozco and Mariela M. Páez, 94-6. Commentary on Sylvia Schmelk's Education and Indian Peoples in Mexico, an example of policy failure in unequal schools, unequal chances, the challenges of equal opportunity in the Americas, edited by Fernando Ramos, pp. 335-8. Prologue to Friedrich Katz, Ensayos Mexicanos. Comment, Hispanic American Historical Review, 69-3, 538-45. Comentario al ensayo de Enrique Cárdenas, algunas cuestiones sobre la depresión de México en el siglo XIX, HISLA, 3, 68-71. Central America, Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, 40-1, 10-12. Book reviews, published in America's Business History Review, Economía y Demografía, Economic History Review, Hispanic American Historical Review, Journal of Economic History, Journal of Economic Literature, Journal of Latin American Studies, Latin American Research Review, Library Quarterly, American Journal of Sociology.